Hey there, I'm George Toby, photographer, filmmaker, entrepreneur, and fellow creative to many of you, and welcome to Coffee and Creatives. This podcast is for coffee drinkers and creative thinkers, those who love to enjoy a good cup of coffee as well as great conversation. Each week, I sit down with artists, entrepreneurs, and makers to talk about the real creative process, what inspires them, what challenges them, and what keeps them going. So if you're into creativity, coffee, and honest conversation, come and hang out with us on Coffee and Creatives. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Coffee and Creatives. Thank you for joining us here on another fantastic episode. This week, we are diving right into it with another incredible guest. I just realized that your last name always confuses me.
It's a mouthful.
But I'm going to think Aaron I'm not even going to try. I need
you are going to try.
I want to say like DiGruccio.
DeGrassi Junior High.
DeGrassi, is that word?
DiGruccio.
DiGruccio.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a little...
You can throw the
G
Italian.
is in there, right? DiGruccio.
It is.
Okay.
You can DiGruccio if you want to throw the...
Little Italian.
Which is hilarious because there's no Italian in
so
at all.
So what's the background behind the name then? What's your background?
The background, like my... Like family
ancestry?
background?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like 84% German.
Okay,
Yeah.
So that's where it comes from.
23... Oh, no, not in the least.
No?
23andMe was a waste of money because like I'm German and it said I'm German with like a, dusting of Slavic. I'm like, yeah, no, I knew that.
Yeah.
I took Leanna's last name. I took my wife's last name when we got married. And her father's side is Italian.
So then what was your original last name?
I don't like it.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm gonna take a hard pass on
That's all good.
I'm gonna take a hard pass on my maiden name here. Anyone watching this who knows me from back in the whatever the day is will know. So that's the Easter egg for this.
We'll leave it as a little
That's
surprise.
the Easter egg for this episode. Yeah, there are 4 DiGruccios in the country, and I live with all of them. Measurable.
Well, that makes sense. Well, there could be more that we don't know about.
There's not.
Or no, if you did the ancestry me, then you're pretty.
There's not, no, because when my wife's father immigrated from Italy, he changed the spelling of the last name from D-E to D-I when they came to the States.
Yeah.
So that was a hard break in that spelling. Then 4 of them moved to Canada. So
well, there you go.
that's my backstory for this episode.
So before we dive deeper into things and kind of like what we're going to talk about, I'm just going to get you to introduce yourself. So Let me know who you are, what you do, and your perspective into our relationship.
Who, what, us.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, my name's Aaron. Last name, as we've established, is DiGruccio.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly uncommon last name. I'm very easy to Google. I can't be anonymous online, so I have to be a good little boy on Reddit. I am a photographer. This is my 20th year doing photography in some capacity. It's been on and off professionally, but currently myself and my wife do event photography together. We started that in 2023 in the spring when we lived in Seattle, and we up and moved here. And it's been a little bit of a slow ramp finding clientele. As an event photographer, you can't really bring clientele with you.
Yeah. And
B, it is post-COVID or mid-COVID. I'm not actually sure. But event photography was a wonderful thing to dive into. Not that we have any business sense in that regard, but we've found some incredible people to work with, and Leanna's been a photographer for about the same amount of time as I have. And she's got an incredible style. She comes from a fine art and cinema background, whereas I come from more portraiture and editorial. Yeah. And event photography is where our two styles and kind of modes of communication intersect. So that's what we've tried to together. That's what we've tried to approach together. So we do that recreationally or for personal purposes. I usually explore environmental and street photography. Yeah. Which has been incredibly soothing and healing and fulfilling for me. It's a bit difficult to pursue day to day, so I'm trying to get into the habit of performing it as a deliberate act, not an incidental one. So making a point to have a camera with me, making a point to respond to my environment instead of... I think a lot of street photographers or, people who want to get into that genre kind of suffer under the delusion that you need to live somewhere glamorous like New York or Paris. These are the streets to cover. Right. But then you look at photographers like William Eggleston, who covered like small town rural America and made astonishing photographs of gas stations. So it is about where you are and when you are that you're creating a response to.
It's almost like finding art in what you see as art, not necessarily the big high-rise buildings and stuff, but it's more...
And those are great too, but you have to find a sense of purpose and creativity in your own environment. Yeah. You kind of don't have a choice. And if you try to extend beyond that limitation, beyond your capacity, you will fail, which is a great teacher. But it's all you have is your place and time, and all you have is right now. So what is the response you're going to create to that? I'm trailing, but my relationship with my esteemed colleague George here, we came together through a mutual friend who is actually my mentor in photography, a wonderful man named Joseph, who was a college prof of mine and got me into photography in the first place. I began doing work first as an assistant, then main shooter, then administrator, and now I'm kind of a background editor, layout guy for some of the work that the company does. And George has been folded in as an incredibly strong and reliable and, more importantly, consistent photographer and consistent human being. So George and I had this like incredibly broad commonality of photography too.
Absolutely.
I like cold met George. It's like, this is George, photography, go. And it's like, all right.
Yeah.
And then we developed a personal rapport around that. And just the fact that George is someone I feel like I can get along with and sit down and talk to about any creative pursuit or any personal pursuit. And there's always kind of good material to go back and forth.
I feel like every time we have a conversation, it's always linked back to photography, creative, like just something to be like, something that kind of like fuels that, like always trying to find inspiration and always trying to find like creativity and ways to like be creative in other areas. Yeah. Which is always, those conversations to me are always a blessing. They're always such good to just like, it's almost like you feel like you like get into like a rhythm and then you're like, I need to switch this up. I need something new. And then just like as simple as like when I told you I got my new little point and shoot camera, you're like, oh, all these things you could try, like doing this, and just like the inspiration of that is like, I think that's such a building block of our relationship.
It is, and I think it's important to, and the conversation never gets old. There's always something to explore there, whether we nerd out over gear and tech, which, you know, as
that's a big thing too.
Photographers will, you know, get on the soapbox on the internet and say gear doesn't matter, and for all the right reasons it doesn't, but you know, it does. Photography requires tools, and the tools themselves are part of the process, and they're fun to discuss, or we can get into the more philosophical or creative side of things, but there's always something to talk about in that regard. And I mean, any conversation that comes back to photography, whether or not I've touched a camera that week, I could go endlessly, basically. Ergo, I'm glad to be here for this.
So do you think having access to a camera is like intuitive to being like, is more important than maybe having like the technical eye or the technical knowledge of photography? If we're talking, let's say we're talking specifically like street photography.
I think one kind of gives way to the other. So having access to a camera is, I mean, A, required, and B, very, very easy to have. These days, which is a phrase I don't like, but it's true. Photography at its core is, in my opinion, until I change it, is an exercise in seeing and in creating a response. And something like, you know, smartphone photography or point and shoot cameras or anything low budget or low end, there are people who will gatekeep and say that this isn't real photography. And I love arguing those people, not into the ground because I'm not some know-it-all or whatnot, but you can move that goalpost wherever you want. The fact that basically everyone has a camera in their pocket lends itself to the democratization of photography.
Right.
If you can make an image, you can respond to your environment. You can apply this to any medium. If you go buy a $10 guitar at the thrift store, it doesn't matter if you're trying to win a Grammy that year, you can pick it up and you can create a response to something you're feeling. All art is, and this was kind of taught to me by, you know, our common friend, my mentor, Joseph. Art is creating a response to the world around you in a meaningful way. And I've always defaulted to that because I've always found it to be true. No matter what your motive is, if it's something you deliberately construct, if it's purely mechanical, if it's emotional, it is you expressing yourself as an element of your place and time.
Right.
No matter the medium. And one thing that draws me to photography, and one reason I encourage it for people with a creative spark but might feel a bit lost, is it is the simplest thing that I know of to pick up, besides maybe a pencil. But I can't draw, so that's not my conversation. And I pick up a camera because I can't draw, but I can take what's around me. and I can make something out of it. I also can't pre-visualize an image for the life of me.
Yeah.
My wife, like I mentioned, comes from a background of fine art and cinema, can plot out and storyboard and physically construct a set to create a photograph.
Yeah.
With this predetermined vision and have the end result basically turn out how it rendered in her head. I can't do that for the life of me.
Yeah, I can't do that either.
But I was washing out my garage the other week, and there was this sliver of golden hour light that came right under my car in the driveway, and this soapy, sudsy water was flowing through this golden light. Not a big deal in any way, shape, or form, but I had my phone in my pocket, took it out, zoomed in, and took a snapshot of this foamy sunset on the beach. It was just filthy water under my car.
Yeah.
But I saw a spark of light, and I went, there it is, and I took it, and it's probably never going to see the light of day.
Yeah.
But I took it, and it sticks out in my mind as part of the practice. I think how
many artists take a photo and nobody ever sees it, right?
Everyone.
Like, I know I have thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of images.
Absolutely
that
everyone.
Nobody will ever see the light of day. Not because I don't think they're good enough, but it's just something where it's like, I think art in terms of photography can be so personal, right? To where there's some images that you just take solely because you wanted that for yourself. And you're like, I probably won't share this with anybody, but it's something that made me feel creative today.
Yeah.
Gave me an outlet, gave me a step to ensure that I'm taking a creativity step every day, but not necessarily always something that you share, right? You might, like with our, with the work that we do, we have a group chat with the company that we both do a lot of work with. And like we share stuff, and I just shared stuff the other day from like a cottage weekend. Like, I think that's probably the only place that I share work that would probably not see anywhere else. Other than that cottage shot that I shared with you, that
was extraordinary.
That might become a print, and that might get blown up.
And maybe George will put a still into the clip here.
Yeah, maybe I'll show that in here
to put a visual to the words that we're using right now. But no, the group of us, because we all bonded over photography and have like such a strong history of it with each other, I can do image dumps with you guys and not worry about my audience. I don't really worry about my audience anyway, because photography is, to your point, inherently personal. There's going to be hundreds of thousands of images that you take that are just for you, and that's probably the best reason to make images. I find it is a practice, and it's you exercising creativity every day. It is like training a muscle. You may always have a creative spark, but using it and actually creating something that you can reflect on and look at later. Photographs are time machines. These are tiny inventions that capture moments in time that you can't physically go back to. But if I take a photograph of someone or something in a place and time, it will stick with me. I do not have any faith in my short-term memory. So photography has been a great exercise for that. It flexes that metaphorical muscle. And it can just be for you. And I do like sharing images selectively. Sometimes on some social media platforms, I'm not like Mr. Algorithm who has, a scheduled post per week. I'm not trying to build a following. I just put out into the world something that I want to reflect on. If it resonates with one or two people, that's fantastic. This is the personal side of things, not the business side of things. Even though my business marketing sense is not much different, but we're doing okay. Side note about the business side of things, my marketing budget is eye contact, a handshake, and a really good conversation with someone.
That's the best one.
I want to show up and solve a problem for you. I want to show up. Leanna and I want to show up, frankly, to exceed your expectations and to give a documentary view of an event that you've worked hard on or that's meaningful to you, or that event is your expression of something you want to put out into the world and share with people. We're an element of that. We are a parallel to that for you. I should probably weave that into some marketing material at some point besides our website bio, which I'm pretty proud of. But the kind of prevalence and pervasiveness of social media, like if you're getting into photography now, you are probably picking up on someone on Instagram whose images you like, and you're going down the rabbit hole of what the algorithm feeds you, and you're going to maybe fall in love with all the images you see and think, how can I recreate this? First of all, trying to recreate someone else's work is
difficult.
Brilliant. It's a great idea.
Brilliant, but difficult at the same time.
Steal and plagiarize all day. Controversial take.
Yeah, I would say, everybody be careful in the comments.
All good in the comments. Well, I can't.
There's probably no comments on this. That's okay.
If this were alive, I would get barbecued right now.
Yeah.
No.
No, I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't call it plagiarism though. I think a lot of people, I get a lot of inspiration from seeing, and I think there's the boundaries of inspiration over plagiarism, and to where, yes, if you were to go and try and take the exact same shot of something in the exact same location, but how many photographers do that? There was one video I had pop up the other day of this specific spot in Manhattan where all the buildings are just incredibly lined down, top of a bridge, and a sunset comes.
Brooklyn Bridge.
And there's like 15, 30 photographers. There's probably more than that, but like 15, 30 photographers there. So are you going to call that plagiarism, or are you going to call that inspiration?
No, because there's no such thing as, another hot take, there's no such thing as originality.
Yeah.
Think of the wildest thing you can create.
And someone's probably created it.
Probably been done, but you haven't created it. And that's important. Back to my point about plagiarism, I say that tongue in cheek. Proper plagiarism is passing off someone else's work or a copy of someone else's work as your own, A, B, particularly if you intend to profit from it. Financially, clout, in any way. That is a pretty filthy thing to do. But if you are starting out and you are looking at someone you consider to be one of the greats or the person who got you into it, and you want to, how did they do this? And you want to try to emulate that, that is a practice. I still do that. It is impossible not to. Any photographers who I've looked up to or whose images stick in my mind, I can't get them out of my head when I'm creating images. I'm not deliberately going, okay, how do I make this look like one of Phil Penman's gritty New York street shots? But those compositions are just on an idle replay anyway. I
get a ton.
The images I make are still my response. And I find that I make my best and most honest images when I've taken a break from looking at other photographers, when my only inspiration is the world around me, and I go, okay, now what? And I just make without thinking. I can't... Like I said, I can't pre-visualize, I can just respond. But I think it's important to be able to look back at one's images and try to explain them. It's fine and it's valid to say, this is Untitled 1, the image will speak for itself. Okay, that's fine, give that to your audience, let them create their own interpretation. Or write an essay about it. But you need to be able to sit down and do some notation, some written piece, even just for yourself, about why you made that image, to give it context in your own head. And oops, cut the table kick out of the shot. That shot of the Brooklyn Bridge with 15, 20, 30 photographers taking it. I mean, it's a quarter of buildings with a sunset behind the Brooklyn Bridge. How are you not taking that?
How are you not? Like, if you're there, you're taking the photo.
Take the tourist shot. Take, like, the sunbeam, like, cutting straight down, like, the pier at San Francisco, like, 2 times a year when it lines up perfectly with the streetcars. Do that. I mean, there's no reason not to. It's not original, but original does not matter. You are not original. You are not special. You are unique. No one has done what you've done because no one else is you. Even if everyone's taken that shot. And as a street photographer, quite frankly, I'm taking that shot of the Brooklyn Bridge with a 40mm focal length and getting an utterly mediocre image, but then I'm turning around and I'm photographing those 30 photographers. Because as someone who, I love people, I love talking to people. People are my favorite subject matter to speak to photograph, to watch. And I want to know the story of every one of those people who saw that same shot. Everyone is in the same place at the same time, seeing the same thing, with wildly different thoughts and feelings about it. What's going on with you? Why are you here? What brought you here? Is this a casual walk downtown from your condo? Did you fly here for this shot? Are you on a work trip? Are you processing something? What brought you here? What made you respond to this moment? You know, you're gonna get everything from, like,
every different response imaginable.
I'm going through a lot and this is my escape, or I'm on a work trip and I walk by, or I'm a tourist, boom, here's my iPhone shot, and maybe it's worth framing. Or it could be anything at all. And I'm never going to get every single person's story, but by photographing people on the street, I get to always have a visual reminder of that sense of wonder, which is what it is for me. Is a sense of wonder and curiosity and exploration, which is why the urban world, the chaotic, people-filled environment, tourist areas are brilliant for this as well. But really anywhere that I can people watch and wonder about their story and maybe get some insight into it or create a visual response of my own that represents that curiosity.
Yeah. So why then why do you think like authentic, candid moments are more, like I would say, more powerful than curated ones?
I'm not sure that they're more powerful. They're just the limitation that I face. I'm an archivist.
I would almost say powerful. I like using the word because I feel like when I look at two images and I can see that one is just a candid, authentic moment that somebody doesn't even know the camera's looking at them, to one where they're doing everything they can to pose and be put into a certain way. I just see so much more like power behind a photographer. I don't even know if I don't even know if power is the right word. I feel it's more like more real, like more. It's a hard word to define the difference between two, but I see so much more in a photograph when I see the authenticness of something as opposed to something that might be fully curated, which again is different artists, right?
It's two different purposes. With a purely candid image, you cannot reproduce it. That exact moment will never happen again. Yeah. And you can't ask for it. The moment you involve yourself, the moment you color the scene, which I think is a Joel Meyerowitz-ism, the moment you involve yourself in the scene and as the photographer influence the content of it, you have lost the ability to capture that exact candid moment. Yeah. And by its very nature, by definition, you can't reproduce it. So if you are able to respond in the right time, if you're able to respond in the right place at the right time to capture a truly candid moment, that is, again, back to the idea of this isn't special, this is not original, it's unique. Yeah. That moment will never occur again. So you've made a visual representation of something that no one else will or can. Yeah. Yeah. You can stage a shot, you can do 50 takes of a model shot, and that's fantastic. There is a practice to that. There is an evolution of a staged pose as you reiterate it. Yeah. That itself is a practice, but a truly candid shot, if it's an immediate real-time response of, hey, turn, bang, you have that representation of something that will never happen again. That might be the crux of that.
Yeah, and
it is for me anyway.
With that, what would you say is the difference between looking at something, but then actually truly seeing it? Like, I feel like sometimes creatives, like, I think I'll often look at something and see more to it than what's actually there in terms of a photograph.
Are you seeing more than what's actually there, or are you just seeing more than...
Or are you seeing more than the average, like someone who's not a creative?
You're seeing exactly what's there. If you feel as though you're seeing more than what's there, it's simply because you didn't see that much depth in relative to everything else you've seen in that moment or in that span of time.
Like, are you seeing more, like, if we say, again, referring back to the cottage shot that I was talking about, like, when I saw that,
your audience needs to see this shot. It's my favorite, for lack of a better word, type of photograph, because it is utterly simple, but I'm going to say it's a perfect image, because
I appreciate that.
A photograph or a piece of art is not complete when there's nothing left to add. It's complete when there's nothing left to take away. Yeah. This photograph is a combination of 2 or 3 core elements, and that's all it needs to be. You can deconstruct it into light, shadow, gesture. Yeah. That's it. It is the side of a white cottage. Yeah. And that doesn't matter.
I think
it is the perfect combination of light and composition.
And that's where I'm looking at the idea of somebody else walking by that might look at it and be like, oh, cool, a cottage with the sun hitting it. But what I was seeing was the cottage, the sun hitting it, just the 2 people down there just sitting on the edge. You have the umbrella. I go to looking at every element of this photo, and I'm like, every single thing. You see a little bit of the beach down to the water, the trees on one side, like the way that one side of the cottage is dark and the other side is like almost fully lit by the sun. And to me, I see all of these elements. So I think that's the angle that I'm coming at that question of like, what's the difference when you see something as opposed to really seeing it? Because most people would just see what they saw, but other people would see more, like I said.
Everyone is going to look at the same scene when they pass by. Seeing it is a matter of how much it resonated with you.
Yeah.
I can walk by and look at that scene and take a photograph or not, and I can pass it by and it might make no impact on me whatsoever. You and I both looked at the same scene, but you saw, to divide the terms up, you saw a depth of meaning and character and qualities to it that motivated you to make the image you made. If I saw something in it beyond looking at it, if it caused me to pause and make an image, I would have made a completely different image than you.
Yeah.
Like, I inherently know how I would compose a scene like that, and both would reflect our response to the environment.
Right.
I'll divide looking and seeing between looking is idle, it's passive, everyone's going to do it in the same situation. Really, truly seeing it, seeing depth in it is totally subjective, and it's how it resonates with you.
Right. Yeah. Would you, with that, and kind of just talking about creatives and artists and stuff, why do you think so many people hesitate to call themselves artists?
Because art, I think, is...
I think there's a lot of photographers that I would interact with, and they would not... They'd say, I'm a photographer, I'm a creative, but they wouldn't call themselves an artist.
Yeah. Creative is, and this is totally, here's where my snobbiness comes in. Creative is an adjective, not a noun. You're not a creative. You're a person. You are creative.
Right. Yeah.
And by that token, I think everyone is inherently creative.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
If you love power washing your driveway, there's a meditativeness to that.
Yeah.
And there is a gesture that you choose to use to, express an emotion.
Yeah.
I could apply this to anything ad nauseum, and it's aggravating when I go too deep into examples, but artist is put on a pedestal, I think, very incorrectly. You have to have a gallery exhibit or sell books or be famous or well-known or go by, when the public knows you by one name, like you're Cher or Seal or Rihanna, then you're an artist or you're selling records or you're selling books.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That makes you famous. Art is kind of like I went back to that one phrase. It's a response to the world around you.
Yeah.
I think even if you feel inherently like you are an artist, this is my art, I'm an artist, this is a title I'm comfortable with, it makes me feel proud and energized and motivated. I think there is a sense of performance anxiety.
Yeah.
That if you express yourself in those terms, people will shoot you down. People will very cynically say you're not an artist, and people who themselves aren't artists, or reject the notion that they are, will then try to bring you down and say, no, because art is this, and there might be a sense of gatekeeping that you're afraid will be levied towards you.
Yeah.
I take the opposite approach. I think everyone is an artist because, by the definition that I've put to it, again, until I change my mind and hear something better. If you feel the motivation and the courage to make an outward gesture into the world, that is an artistic gesture. So by that token, everyone's an artist. Children are artists. Children don't have egos or performance anxiety. They burst out into the world and color on the walls or on paper or build sculptures or... It's endless. They're intrinsically artists, and by the very nature of being curious about the world around you, the sense of discovery that's built into everyone, and children will express this fearlessly. We get kind of cloistered up and socially anxious and self-doubtful as we age and become more self-aware, which is worth resisting. But by the very nature of being curious, everyone is also a scientist. The intrinsic sense of discovery we all have is the core of science. Looking out at the world or up into space and going, what's that, is the genesis of scientific discovery. And the inherent push to express that is the genesis of arts. Arts and sciences are mutually beneficial. They are parallel forms of discovery and communication.
How would you encourage somebody to take their first step into what would maybe be a step into artist or creative? Like if someone was like, like I'm looking into photography or, you know, kind of video or anything, like what would be your encouragement to be like, hey, here's what I would encourage you to do for your first step into that?
That's a great question. And I'm super biased towards photography because it's what I've latched onto and what I love consuming many different artistic mediums, but photography is the one I love producing. So I'll speak to that one endlessly as you're seeing right now. But any technical skill can be taught. You can teach like the fundamentals of photography to anyone. I kind of mentioned earlier, I can't draw, but if I sat down and took courses or just practiced over and over again a single technique, I will develop a talent to draw.
Yeah, for sure.
You can teach music, you can teach singing, you can teach breakdancing, you can teach empathy. The one thing I'm convinced you can't teach is taste. You're born with it or not, or you develop it or you don't. True. And you can be an extraordinary technician in any artistic field, but totally lack taste. And I mean, take a 5-minute flick through TikTok or Instagram and you'll probably see what I mean.
Yeah.
Because the algorithm feeds attention and rage, not creativity.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with the one thing I can't teach, the one thing I can't govern or guide, which is taste. Hey, man, I want to get into an artistic pursuit. Cool. What do you like? What do you like the most? Do you like this photograph? Cool. Why? Do you like this song? Hey, man, me too. That's a cool song. Why do you like it?
Yeah.
That's a neat painting. Why do you like it? Start with what you like. What are you drawn to that makes you feel something? All the other... Take two. Cut. Seriously, cut this bullshit. By the way, side note just between you and me, I've ratcheted my language down to PG-13 because I don't know if you're trying to monetize this.
I haven't really figured that out yet, but so far I just am letting people go and I haven't had anything. So
I'm tapping into my radio background. That's the only element of my college degree I use is speaking to people.
Yeah.
Uncut. You are exposed to, you know, the art and creativity of other people all around you. Right, like pick up a book. Writing, for example. Writing is another beautiful time machine where you can revisit a place and time from history. So start with what someone likes. What art and creativity in the world are you drawn to? What do you like to look at or listen to or participate in? If someone's like, hey man, I really want to start making art, but like the only thing I've liked doing is like dancing and singing in my bedroom. All right. That's a fantastic gateway.
Yeah.
Start there. Yeah. Okay. Now look at what you like. Who made it? Cool. What does their body of work look like? How did they do it? Can you go try to copy it? Who inspired them? And you start with taste. Technical ability, the tool set, the toolkit that you need to create whatever you're into, that can come later at any budget, on any timeline. There's no rush. It's a personal journey. Your only competition is your own limitations. Yeah. And the only person you're trying to better is your personal best from yesterday. Yeah, exactly. Start with taste. Find out someone's taste and encourage that. If someone just comes out of the gates and says, hey man, I'm really into photography. Okay. How much time you got? Yeah. I'll go on that, but you can apply a conversation about taste to any medium. Right. If someone says, I really love, and then they mention a medium I'm not familiar with, I then get to ask them questions and discover that with them. And that's a cool journey for me to go down with a person too. Art is unifying in that sense. But if I can just dive right into my bias, seriously, pick up a camera, pull the telephone out of your pocket, and make an image. Yeah, you got a free camera with you all the time. Make 3 images from where you're sitting. Don't blink. Don't think. Yeah. Don't get up. Just make them. Okay. Why'd you do that? Well, I don't know. I just did. There's a why in there. There's a reason. There's always a why between. I don't care if it takes you 10 years. You'll find it. Yeah. Go. Yeah. Go make. That's great. I think that's fantastic advice to think back to that aspect of what is your taste. And everybody has different tastes. I think a lot of tastes can come from growing up though. I do think that a lot of like parents can instill different tastes on how they either parent or how you're raised can very much affect. I feel like for me, my taste for photography, like it just naturally came because my mom had a camera. Yeah. And I was like, this is cool. This looks like something fun. And I would just take it and go and take random, probably at the time I thought were awesome photos, but now I've looked back and found some of my photos from like when I was like from like 20 years ago when I was like 6 or 7 years old. Yeah, that'd be right. Yeah. And like, they're like, these suck now. Why? Why do they suck?
And so then that's where I would go I would think about it, be like, why does this suck? I was like, I can't compare myself now 20 years later to what I was doing then, because I don't have the same skills. I don't have the experience. I don't have the knowledge then that I had now.
Do you feel like you make pretty good images now, pretty consistent images now?
I would say so.
I would say so too. Yeah. Would you be making consistent quality images now if you hadn't taken those images that suck back then?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I'd probably be taking just as bad images now.
So by that token, those sucky images are
develop the skill.
They're basically part of your textbook. They're part of your learning journey.
I wish I had a lot of them. Like I don't. I probably could find them if I went deep enough to find them. But
well, like I said, there's no rush. There's no timeline. Yeah. If you feel moved to, you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. When's the last time you came across one of your old images from like a long time ago?
That is contingent entirely upon when I plugged in that hard drive.
Yeah.
I'm a very meticulous but very dead simple dumb archivist. I fill up 3 hard drives in triplicate so that I feel convinced I won't lose anything, then buy 3 more and keep going.
Yeah.
When did I last come across? Actually, you know what has been an extraordinary mechanism for that has been the Photos app.
Yeah.
On my iPhone and on my Mac specifically, because I have the widget on my home screen on my iPhone and on my Mac desktop that shows me a random curation of images.
Okay.
And I like being curated too sometimes. As much as I'll like agonize over my images and which ones to show others in which order.
Yeah.
My camera roll, like the 50,000 images in it, for my iCloud account are kind of a random dumping ground. I will very intuitively and impulsively take completely technically mediocre photographs sometimes with my iPhone, but of something that was close to me, of my kids doing something in garbage light. Excuse me. Pardon me. Take 2. I'll sometimes take, technically very mediocre photographs of my kids doing something next to me or something utterly mundane, but it's part of my environment and part of my life and part of my, I don't know, kitchen or bedroom or bathroom mirror. I took a really cool self-portrait of my hand out of focus in the fog on my bathroom mirror. I'll probably never show it to anyone, but I'm like, this is neat. Dragged a couple sliders around, flipped it to black and white, and no one's ever going to see it. But it was kind of fun. Sidebar to all this, if it's not fun, don't agonize.
I was just going to say, it's almost like sometimes you have those little moments of like you take an iPhone shot or even like you take a camera shot, put it on your phone and you pull it into Lightroom and you're like messing around. You're like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much fun this is.
It is fun.
And you like forget, but it like gives you a reminder of like, this is why I started doing this. This is why I curated this craft and this creativity.
And this is a large element of why I think all children are artists, because they'll express themselves fearlessly and shamelessly. And the core of all art, if I can take a step further back, is play. Play with the environment around you. Enjoy yourself. Get lost in it. Don't think. Put thoughts and words to it later, but just play freely. So I'll fill up my camera roll with just life. And my photos widget will occasionally feed back something from 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 years ago. And that will bring me back to that place in time. So the last time I revisited an old image was yesterday.
Okay.
And it happens randomly. And I trust, Apple's AI algorithm to feed that to me. And that's fine. I like being curated to. It's like music. Sometimes I'll create a really meticulous, ordered, structured playlist for something that I'm very specifically doing. Sometimes I'll hit shuffle and see what it pulls out of thin air for me. Like I said, I am a respondent to my environment. I can't preconceive all that much. So even with something like music, I will just let the playlist feed me what it feeds me and discover something I wouldn't have hunted down myself. So it's really interesting, and it'll bring back, like I said, what might be on the surface. At the time was a super mundane moment, but photographs lend meaning, or rather, photographs develop meaning over time. Because I might not have realized at the moment that I took something in 2018 how significant it would be now. And I mean, I came across a video the other day of my, I was throwing a ball, and my infant daughter was chasing a ball down the hallway. And it was a perfectly ordinary day at the time. But I look back on that video 6.5 years later, and I remember what the weather was like and how beautiful the weather was
in
Washington State in environment that meant a lot to me at the time, and how incredible it was to see her as a baby. And then I look at my daughter now, and I'm more immune to nostalgia than I think some people are, because I don't wish for those days back. I'm grateful for those days, but I'm more grateful for the person she's becoming now. I would not trade the person I've come to know for my infant daughter again. That happened. I have a time capsule of it, and now we move forward.
Yeah, and I think photography allows us to capture those moments and those times. I had a friend, and he, for the first year of his first son being born, he wanted to do something special, and he only took film photos of his son. I don't know how often he took them, but he only took film and then developed it all.
Not as often as one might take iPhone photos, because that gets expensive.
Yes, it does get very expensive. But I just thought that was such a cool way to, like you said, you take a photo and a year, 2 years later, you look back at that and it means something so much more, or could mean something so much different than when it did when you actually took it. And when you look at that meaning, I mean, even looking at like wedding or even events or stuff like that, you take a photo and the couple or the event, they look at that 2-3 years later. There's going to be something more to that photo that they receive than what they originally thought at the time.
It does grow over time. I agree. And I think a creative block a lot of photographers specifically have is they'll wonder maybe in real time, okay, why am I taking this photo? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be good enough? Are people going to like it? Do I really care? Even if you don't care, take the photo that you feel compelled to, push through your own self-doubt and do the thing anyway. Because it will develop a different set of meaning over time. Or if it doesn't, you've wasted, 1/100th of a second? And that wasn't even a waste, because it was part of your journey toward the next thing you're going to create. No one has to see it. It gets to be a practice. How many photographers, notable ones now, were unknown in their day? They died with thousands of undeveloped rolls of film in their attic. They get unearthed, they get developed, and this is, all of a sudden a historical figure. And there's a lot of meaning to that.
Absolutely.
Just make the damn thing now and sort it out later.
Make it now.
Awesome.
That's incredible, man. I appreciate your time today, and what a fantastic conversation, and definitely looking forward to having you back on here again, just to dive into more conversation. There will be Aaron will definitely be back on the podcast. We'll have to figure that out.
It would be a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
This has been super enjoyable.
Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope all the guests that I've been having on have been enjoying their time.
And the coffee was on point.
Perfect. Yeah, it was a good coffee. You had the same one last episode.
Good.
Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you for joining us today on Coffee and Creatives. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.